context share a deep connection in their essence. The athletes who represent India on the Olympic stage today carry the legacy of those who fought for a free India, embodying the same resilience, determination, and unwavering belief in their cause. Each time an Indian athlete steps onto the Olympic field, it is not just a quest for victory. It is a tribute to the courage and sacrifice of those who made it possible for the tricolor to fly high. The Olympics, like India's freedom struggle, remind us that the path to greatness is paved with perseverance, unity, and an unyielding belief in the power of freedom. I'm extremely happy to invite you all for the special meeting of Dynamic Leaders Forum Toastmasters Club. Toastmasters International is a non-profit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. It has more than 16,200 clubs and in 145 countries. The mission of a Toastmaster Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. Let me share the ground rules of today's meeting. Please remain on mute until asked to speak. Kindly refrain from speaking about sex, politics, and religion during the entire session of this meeting. It would be great if you appreciate the speakers by showing thumbs up or claps by clicking on the reaction button. It would be great if you all switch on the camera and show your beautiful smiling faces. Let me hand over the session to the presiding officer. Today, we have a presiding officer who threw off the shackles and made it to an opportunity that she got it in US. Though people tried to put her down, she made it through. She emancipated and took her feet to move forward and take up the new challenge in the US. Here I welcome Toastmaster Savita, the presiding officer, to take over the session. Over to you, Toastmaster Savita.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sridevi, for that such a wonderful introduction. Dear Dynamic Leaders Forum, advance wishes for each one of you. Very happy Independence Day. I can't even imagine if the British were ruling till now and we could have not gone this further. So give a big salute to those people who fought for our independence. Salute for them. Thank you so much for that. And I request each one of you to come on the video and also share your background, which is shared also in the chat box. One more thing I would like to tell about Dynamics Leaders Forum. We would like to encourage each participant to reach their respective goals. As a VPE, I am contacting each one of you with regard to your goals, and we will together reach their levels. And also, personal aspects, we would be reaching our personal goals with regard to communication. For that, your dedication and your encouragement is very much required. We can push, but it's all up to your dedication, which will show up the results. Secondly, we have the context coming up, that is humorous and evaluation speech contest. For that, we will be calling contest chair. So if anybody is interested, please reach out to the XCOM team or myself. We will help you out in any manner you need. And thirdly, we have the renewals, which is across the corner. So Toastmaster Felix and myself and all XCOM team will be working together for the renewal. You can do renewal by your own on Toastmaster websites, or you can reach out to us so that we can do it on your behalf. And if you feel any hurdles or in this context, please reach out to Toastmaster Felix or any XCOM team so that they can help you out. So, what do you mean by independence? Anyone? Let's get into the team today. What do you mean by independence?
Freedom.
Great. Any other thoughts?
Basic need.
Sorry?
Basic need.
Okay. Any other?
And know our responsibilities too.
Exactly. So freedom is something, independence is something called as freedom. Do what you will feel like, and the basic responsibility. So keeping your moral values high, doing what is required to yourself and your society is the key. So once again, wishing you a very, very happy Independence Day in advance. So now let's go on to the Toastmaster of the day. So who is Toastmaster of the day today? So he is doctor by profession. He has two kids and a wonderful dad. And he has come out of his comfort zone to talk something about the independence, history, and freedom today. I'm very eager to listen to him. So let's all welcome to Toastmaster of the Day, Dr. Toastmaster Dr. Jasper Sandeep. All over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster, presiding officer Savita. I'll have to take pardon from our Sergeant at Arms today because we can't talk about Independence Day without talking about religion or politics and maybe a little bit of sex as well. Yeah. So my sincere apologies to you, Sergeant at Arms. Okay, let me share my screen and let me know if you're able to see it. Okay. Can you all see the screen? Is it visible to you?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So independence is not just a word. It means a lot to
Master
many people.
Sandeep, like we could see the other version, like once you give the presentation question.
You want the bigger version? So,
Yeah, looks like it's portrait mode. It's not in full screen.
not able to.
Can you make it as a presentation mode?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that.
So maybe you should share the entire screen uh, while sharing.
Are you able to see the slides?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, so we'll start with this, and then I'll change to the presentation mode when I come around again. Okay. So Independence Day, yeah, it is not just a word. Can you all see the slides? Just one slide with all the freedom fighters in it.
Yes.
Just give me a second. Okay. So this day marks the day of birth of our nation. Maybe a triumph of people's will to be free, a signal of people governing themselves to shape their own destiny. But we must also remember the courage, determination, and the sacrifices of those who came before us. So on this day, 15th of August, 1947, India broke its shackles of British colonial rule and embarked on a journey of to become a sovereign nation. One of the biggest historians of our times. Okay, so before we jump into it, this is going to be more like a test your knowledge and learn more about the incredible story of India. Okay, through this quiz, I'm just going to raise questions to you, and you can call out the answers for people who know it. We'll visit the heroic struggles of those freedom fighters. We'll look into some of our milestones in our post-independence era, and maybe envision what the future lies ahead for all of us. And most importantly, be proud of being an Indian. So this gentleman is a historian, a modern historian, and one of the best historiographical texts that he's written. And he said, India was a motherland of our nation, of our race. The Sanskrit is the mother of all European languages. She was the mother of of philosophy, and through the Arabs, the mother of much of our mathematics, and through Buddha, the ideals embodied in Christianity, and through the village community of self-government and democracy itself. So Mother India is in many ways the mother of us all. So can anyone identify this historian? Okay. So his name is William Durant. Okay. And he wrote a 12-volume history of the world. And he was one of the first to compile the entire history of the world, ancient, Middle Ages, and the modern history. And he wrote in particular a book called The Case of India, which talks about the conscious and deliberate bleeding of India by Britain. So let me go back to the previous slide. So can you all name the freedom fighters listed? Please go ahead, just shout it out. I want you to turn yourself all on. Okay.
Sri Aurobindo.
Sardar Patel,
Bhagat Singh,
Subhash Chandra Bose.
Okay. Yes.
Lala,
Sardar
Lal
Vallabhbhai
Bahadur
Patel.
Shastri.
Lal Bahadur
Okay.
Shastri,
Lal Bahadur
Sarojini
Shastri.
Naidu,
Lal Bahadur Shastri.
Annie Besant,
Okay.
Gopala Krishna
Okay.
Gokhale.
Okay.
Nehru.
Annie
Nehru,
Besant.
yes.
Aravindo,
Ambedkar.
Ambedkar.
Yeah, Aravindo.
Sarojini Naidu.
Sarojini
Okay,
Naidu. Annie Besant.
Annie Besant. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so you got your history up to speed at least. So you'll not be disappointing me today. Okay, so like all histories, it has to start from the very beginning. And can anyone list what I'm talking about? An idea of what we are talking about? This shaded area?
Yeah, you are talking about civilization.
India also.
Exactly. And this, we're talking about the Indus Valley civilization 3,000 to 5,000 years ago, okay, equal to the Mesopotamian and Egyptian civilization. And we have found out that there were inhabitants, cities which were 40,000 people strong, and this is where our culture first survived. And India derives its name from this very Indus Valley. Can you tell me which site is this? One of the first two sites that were discovered about the
I
Indus
think
Valley civilization.
Mohenjo-daro.
Okay, it is Mohenjo-daro.
uh,
So can you see the sheer size of the city? Okay, there's a big
Yeah.
public building there right at the top. Okay, it is supposed to be a storage area, a people assembly hall. You can see how well the right angles are there. We are talking before even the discovery of mathematics. You can see there were drainage systems which were covered here. Okay, you can see these almost 4 to 5 thick walls that protected from the weathers. Okay, the city had an extensive drainage and a water supply system and wells. And there was even an underground furnace which helped to heat the wall, heat the bath areas. Okay, so you're looking at a civilization that was so advanced. And you and I are descendants of that civilization. Okay. So just going to delete this. Okay, so there were 200 years of dark history, and that's where it led to the independence of India. Can anyone recognize the prime minister who was partly responsible for continuing our colonialism here? So this gentleman here.
Jawaharlal Nehru.
Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is an era. Okay, the world was at war. And Winston Churchill was opposed to the freedom movement was gathering momentum, and people were already calling for independence. And Churchill very strongly felt. Okay, he was a prime minister of the war, and he was one of the heroes of the World War I. He felt that independence is granted to India, the power will go to the hands of rascals, rogues, freebooters. All Indian leaders will be of low caliber and men of straw. They will not have any strong muscle or they'll be weak. They will have sweet tongues and silly hearts. And he will fight amongst themselves for power, and India will be lost in political squabbles. A day will come even when air and water will be taxed in India. And that was his war, his issue. And for a man who never even visited India, at the most he was posted in somewhere in 1915 as a brigadier in one of the barracks, and he hardly left the barrack. And for him to have that kind of control is a sad thing, isn't it? But then the tides had changed. Britain never needed another war hero. The Britain needed people to provide food and administer and develop the economy and things like that. And that's when Clement Attlee came into the picture. And he belonged to the Labour Party, and he directed the freedom of India. Okay, so we all know August 15th is the date for the freedom. But what is January 26th initially? Or June 30th for
India
that?
became a republican.
Yeah, but up to that point, what was January 26th?
26 republic. India became republic. And the June
No,
30th,
that was the
I think
official
it has
date.
come. Yeah, the June 30th, it is established, means it came to, what do I say? I don't know.
It
I think
became
our constitution was formed.
okay. All right. So there were many players in this act. Okay. So January 26th for long was the declared Independence Day of the Congress Party. So you had the National Congress movement, and they decided that January 26th was going to be our Independence Day, and they called for it every year. And this was happening since this gentleman, if you can recognize him standing on the podium there, since Jawaharlal Nehru called for Swaraj. What Swaraj means in Hindi, in Sanskrit, what does it mean?
Freedom.
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 Self-rule.
No.
Yeah. Absence, self-rule. Okay.
Self-rule.
Complete freedom. Yeah. So he declared Swaraj, and 26th was the day. And that went on. And this gentleman was given the task of giving India its freedom. Who was he?
Mountbatten Prabhu.
Mountbatten.
Yeah, that's right. And that's Lord Mountbatten. And this lady also was an orchestrator as well. And he being the Viceroy of India, and he was given the deadline by June 30th by Clement Attlee to declare independence. That was the last deadline that we had. Okay, so they came in from the UK. They landed in India in the hot spring of 1947, and they had to draft the declaration policies. This player that I was talking about is probably, can you recognize her?
Edwina Mountbatten.
Yeah, Edwina Mountbatten. Okay.
Mountbatten.
And Jawaharlal Nehru is not exactly being very diplomatic in this scene, as you can all see. And many people talk about, although officially they were close friends, probably they were much more than that. And why I'm saying this is, many years later, Jawaharlal Nehru died of a heart attack. Okay, but he actually died of an aortic aneurysm. Okay, and an aortic aneurysm in that age and era, when antibiotics were not much used, is due to syphilis, a sexually transmitted disease. Okay, and so we have Edwina, who became very close friends of Jawaharlal Nehru, and they probably speeded the declaration process. So from a 14-month deadline, Mountbatten was able to draft the policy in 4 to 5 months. Okay? She didn't have the same effect on Jinnah, and that's why we had the partition most likely. But in the larger frame of things, you can say Mountbatten, Jawaharlal Nehru, and possibly Edwina had a role in this declaration. And this is a saying by Jawaharlal Nehru, who says, time is not measured by the passing of years, but what one does, but what one feels, and what one achieves. Okay. And Britain, India for long was known as the crown jewel of the British Empire. And this is the latest crown jewels worn by the most recent monarch of our time. And can you recognize the crown jewel there?
Kohinoor.
Okay, so you're all looking for the Kohinoor diamond. Okay, it's not there anymore. Okay, because many people are claiming ownership of that Kohinoor diamond, including India. And so the British monarchy had decided to retire the Kohinoor diamond, and it's at a safe place in the Tower Bridge of London. Okay. All right. So that's about it for an introduction. I hope you all warmed your neurons. And let's go directly to the introduction of our evaluators. Give me a second. So our general evaluator for the day is Toastmaster Nagamanikam. He was working as a teacher for more than 8 years, and he's currently working as a software engineer, a movie buff, and he's into learning new things. And at the moment, he is in Toastmasters to improve his speaking skills. Speaks a lot of volume of the eagerness of his enthusiasm that he has for Toastmasters. So to him, India is a country of colors, cultures, and contrasts. So over to Nagamanikam to introduce our tackle theme.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, for such a lovely introduction and more insights and valuable information about independence and all about India. So today is August 11. We are 4 days before our Independence Day. Normally in childhood, when I used to hear about this day, I could remember what I was doing is I used to browse the TV channels and Vijay TV, what are the movies they are going to telecast for the Independence Day, and which movies are getting released in theaters. And I was thinking like what we can talk about Independence Day as a general evaluator. I was thinking like, okay, last year what I was doing for the Independence Day and previous year what I was doing, I couldn't recollect anything. Then I realized I was not feeling as I was not feeling this day completely as an independent day. Just I was considering this one as another holiday. But thanks to Toastmasters, I was pushed enough to browse and explore what is really freedom and how we got it, and what kind of powerful leaders we got in those days. So which give me a different perspective in the overall freedom, nations, India, all the countries on those aspects. So let's back to our business. Today, the theme is freedom. We are how our freedom fighters worked together to make our country free. In the same way, we are here to help each other to become better speakers. As a general evaluator, my job is to help us to learn by evaluate the overall proceeding of the meeting and giving constructive feedback on how we can improve. So now let me introduce the team that will help us today, just like our leaders guided us to freedom. The first person is the timer, and she is by profession, she is a teacher. Just as time was crucial in the struggle for independence, Toastmaster Padmavati will help us honor the value of time in our speeches today. Over to you, timer.
Thank you,
Padmavati.
General Evaluator, Toastmaster Naga. In Toastmasters, the timer helps the speakers to manage their time. As timer today, I will be alerting the speakers by showing the cards, timer cards, green, yellow, and red, and noting down the time they have taken. Now, today, all the speeches are of 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, I'll show green card. 6-minute yellow card and 7-minute red card. For table topics section, 1 minute green card, 1.5 minute yellow card, and 2-minute red card. For evaluation, 2 minutes green card, 2.5 minutes yellow card, and 3 minutes red card. And after showing the red card, the speaker gets 30 seconds to wind up their speech. Thank you. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Padmavati. So the next role is played by Toastmaster Lata as the accounter. So just as clear communication was important in our fight for freedom, the accounter role is also most important to improve our speaking skills. So when I asked about the independence, she was mentioning that we need to evolve ourselves out of our own limiting beliefs and empower ourselves with positive mindset, update and upskill and transform into a powerful communicator. So I welcome Toastmaster Lata to brief about his role.
Yeah. Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As your accountant today, I will be listening to each one of you very carefully, and I shall note the use of eligible words and sounds like or filler words such as well, you know, I mean, etc. And at the end, I will be presenting the report when called upon by the General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lata. So next role is, just like our leaders listen to the hopes and dreams of the people to guide the country, we have listening master, Mr. Sai Kumar. By profession, he's practicing chartered account. So let me welcome Toastmaster Sai Kumar to brief about his role.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator, for the introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So being a good listener is as important as being a good speaker. As a listening master, I'll be noting down interesting tidbits of information from any of the speaker and ask questions near the end of the meeting. The purpose of this role is to help people to be more focused and have some fun. Meet you all towards the end of the meeting. Over to you, GE. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai Kumar. So next we have grammarian and idiom master role. So both roles today are going to be played by Toastmaster Matthews. So just as our language is rich, as our rich language is part of our culture, the grammar is very important when we speak a language. And also, like for the idiom master, as I said, the same role is going to played by Toastmaster Matthews. I welcome Toastmaster Matthews to brief about his role.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Today I'll be playing the dual role of grammarian as well as the idiom master. So as the grammarian, I'll be listening carefully to all the speeches and will also take note of the good and also good usage of the English language. So with that, I would like to introduce today's word of the day, which is emancipation. It means the process of being set free from social, legal, and political restrictions. As an example, the emancipation of our country was a pivotal movement which marked the end of oppression and the dawn of self-rule. So is there anyone who would like to use that word in a sentence now? Okay. Moving on, I'd like to introduce the idiom of the day, which is throw off the shackles. So it means to free oneself from restraints or oppression. So, for example, in a sentence, in India's independence was a historical moment when we threw off the shackles of colonial rule and embraced our freedom. I encourage all our speakers to use both the word of the day and the idiom throughout your speeches today, and I will keep track of all uses and present my report when called upon. In fact, I'm very glad that Postmaster Sridevi has already used both the word of the day and idiom already, so it's a good start for us. Thank you, and back to you, Chandra.
Thank you, Toastmaster Matthews. I really appreciate for taking both the roles as a grammarian and idiom master and taking efforts for the words and idiom of the day. With this, we have introduced all the role players in the Taggle team. I have also evaluators to evaluate prepared speeches. They'll be evaluating prepared speeches based on the speech objectives. I'll introduce them at the appropriate time later. Let me hand over the control back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Sir, listening master.
Sorry, I missed that. So I welcome listening master.
It is done.
It
Introduction
is done already. It is done already. Yeah.
Yeah, it's already done.
Yeah. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Dr. Malika. So I'm going full screen now. Can you just give me a thumbs up if you can all see the screen? Okay. Thank you. Right. So who coined the term Jai Hind?
Arjun.
No. If you, if you don't know, you can't use it. Everybody seems to be using it these days. Okay. So there were many remarkable leaders in our role who fought for our freedoms. And we talked about, you already know Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of non-violence and civil disobedience. And this gentleman, Sardar Subhash Chandra Bose, came to be known for armed resistance, a very more radical approach to freedom. And he coined the term Jai Hind. So there were other prominent leaders, and I'm going to discuss a few of them now. So who's this again?
Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
Well done. So he was only 43 years old. Okay. And in his time, the whole world was at war. He had already been the president of the Indian National Congress twice and tried to join hands with those who oppose the British imperialism. So let me see how much do you know about him. So did he study in the University of Cambridge? True or false?
True.
True or false? Just one answer.
True.
True.
Yeah, exactly. Most of our leaders who came from either studying in Cambridge or Imperial College London. So that's a good place to go if you're thinking about a good freedom of thought. Did he start the newspaper Azad?
True.
True or false? No, he started the newspaper called Swaraj. Okay.
Swaraj.
Yes. Okay. Azad was the name of his army. Azad Hind was the name of the army that he used to fight against the British Empire. Okay. Was he left or a rightist?
Right.
Right means more conservative, left means more radical. Okay. So he
Left.
was a leftist. Okay.
Right.
He founded
The righteous.
the left. He founded the
Left.
left. Okay. He's a left-winged or left-sided. Okay. They are more radical in their outlook. Okay. You will say a conservative Muslim versus a jihadist, those kind of things. Okay. And complete the sentence. Give me blood and I will give you
Freedom.
Freedom.
freedom. Fantastic. So you can see his ideology is based on violence. Okay.
Yes.
And he formed a provisional government which was based in Singapore, an Indian government based in Singapore. Is it true or false?
True.
Yeah, fantastic. So Sheikh Hasina has just been thrown out of Bangladesh. Yeah. So he and his son is now in India, and they may be moving to the UK or some nationality which provides them, and they will form a government there and to oppose the current government there. So this is the kind of thing that he was doing it when he was 43 years old. And I'm 43 years old, I'm sitting and do this. Okay. So India fought for the British or against the British in World War II?
For the
For,
British.
for,
For the British.
Yeah.
For the British.
So at least 200,000 men lost their lives in the World War II fighting for the British and its allies. Okay. But Netaji had a different plan. So like you can see from this diagram, he moved from Calcutta, found his way through Soviet-occupied Afghanistan into Moscow and pleading for Indians' independence and the Soviet support for his movement. Okay, he didn't get much of a support, so he moved to Berlin. He met Hitler. Okay, and Hitler was anti-British, so he found ready-made support. And actually, he took an oath, Herr Hitler, and pledged his allegiance to him. And he was actually part of the Wehrmacht, the war machine that Hitler had developed. Okay, and then from there and then one day he realized that Hitler was invading the Bolsheviks. He is moving his eastern front to invade Russia. Okay, so can you imagine Netaji being a socialist, a communist, okay, looking for anti-imperialism values against capitalism, okay, and all of a sudden Hitler is moving into Russia. So he became disillusioned, okay, and so he looked for the next anti-British power, and so he went straight all the way to the Japanese occupied territories of the Philippines, Malaysia, and sought their help. Okay. By now, he had gathered 3,000 or 4,000 people. Okay, in these territories. Okay, and he was literally forming a small war machine. They called it the Azad Hind. Okay, and when Japanese forces were almost at the shores of India, when they were fighting the war in Burma, he used his army to fight against. So in one way, India was with Britain and without Britain and against Britain at one point. Okay, so identify this personality. So this gentleman was a lawyer. Okay, he was our first deputy prime minister and home minister. And he
Sardar
became
Vallabhbhai
friendly
Patel.
with Gandhiji, playing bridge in jail. Okay, so you got that first thought. All right. So he was popularly known as Sardar, okay, meaning chief, right? And he was known as the Iron Man of India.
Man of India.
And his contribution, and his contribution to India was what? What was his greatest contribution to India?
Annexation of the princely states to the Union of India.
Exactly. And can you name the number of states that he united?
576, more than 500.
Yeah, exactly. 565 states. Okay, imagine talking to 565 princes and telling them you have to be part of this one sovereign thing which didn't even exist at that point. Okay, so that's why he is called the Iron Man of India. He was able to mollycoddle somebody, he was able to force somebody, and he was able to share treaties with somebody so that some of the princes retained their powers. Okay, so that was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And you already named this figure.
Sarojini Naidu.
Okay, and what was her name given by Gandhiji to her?
The Nightingale of India.
Nightingale.
Nightingale of
Nightingale of India. And this is what her quote of India was. Thy future calls thee with a manifold sound to crescent honors, splendors, victories vast. Waken, O slumbering mother, and be crowned, who once were the empress of the sovereign past. I think those were beautiful words. She was also trained in the Imperial College, UK. Okay, so moving on, let's go on to the prepared speech section. So I'm just going to stop sharing here. There. Okay, so for our prepared speech sections, we have 3 speeches for today. Okay, our speaker for today, first speaker for today is Toastmaster Uma Maheshwari. Is she online? Oh, there she is. All right. She's an international bilingual novelist who has published 10 books. Okay, and 4 audiobooks, a soft skills trainer, a handwriting trainer, communication trainer, business coach. And her quote about India is a blend of various cultures where every individual is respected. A nation where both nature and culture stand unique from the entire world. Can I call upon her evaluator to give the speech details?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. My target speaker, Toastmaster Uma Maheshwari, going to deliver speech in pathways of effective coaching. It is a level 3 and elective 2 project. The purpose of this speech is to practice using a story within a speech or giving a story as a speech. All the very best, Toastmaster Uma Maheshwari. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
So can I start my speech or? Raise your hands if you have ever forgot your shoes or sandals and traveled out with the flip-flops you use in your home and suddenly felt all the eyes around you or on your feet. Raise your hand out of joy. You sing your song aloud and suddenly felt shy looking at others' eyes, whereas your mind inside will be singing like, or raise your hand after talking in the crowd or showcasing your talent, getting down and thinking, did I do it right? Or did I do it wrong? What do they think about me? Do they think that I am a clown? Will they make fun of me? Fellow Toastmasters and guests, many of us have this fear. I have this fear. Always think, what will they think about me? Are they talking about me? That guy is looking at me. Is he thinking something bad about me? And I found an interesting thing. It is called FOPO, fear of people's opinion. And I learned that it is wired in our DNA. You see, right from the caveman period, we are educated to blend in the tribe, to be a wallflower, not to step out or not to get criticism from others, so that we will not be kicked out from the tribe. We should blend with the tribe to save us from the wild animals. In the digital man period, again, we should blend with the tribe to save us from the humans and their criticism in their so-called social media comments. But how can we tackle this? How can we avoid this? Let me share my experience where I got enlightened, how I can filter that. I used to travel every week from Chennai to Chidambaram while I was working in Chennai, whereas my family was in Chidambaram. Every Friday, I will travel in the train from Chennai to Chidambaram, and on Monday morning, I will go back to Chennai. I always book a window seat in the train so that I can enjoy my music along with the running arrays of trees on the opposite side. But I always have this habit of having an ear pain so that I can never wear 2 buds at the same time. I always exchange it again and again. That time, I saw a girl sitting at opposite to me. She was looking down. and having a bangs at the side of the head. The gushing air is always disturbing her, and out of conscious, she tucked the hair at the back of the ear. And then we saw a big scar on her temple. Immediately realizing that everyone was looking at her, she immediately tried to bring the bangs down. And again, out of conscious, out of reflex, because of the disturbing air, she tucked at the back of her ear. She was trying to pull it down, tucking it back, pulling down, tucking it back. The granny sitting next to me saw her and smiled at her and said, "You see, this scar, I got it by spilling burning oil while cooking. I don't bother about it." That girl, she saw the granny, she understood what she was trying to say and simply smiled at her. The granny started talking more and more and more to make the girl to feel at ease. And out of blue, she asked the girl, "Do you want to stop others looking at you?" Since my right ear was free with the granny, I too became curious. Who doesn't want to know to stop others looking at us? So I simply noticed the granny. That girl physically nodded her head eagerly to the granny, whereas I mentally nodded my head at her. So we were all, the entire cabin, were all looking at the granny eagerly to listen to the answer. The granny simply moved forward, took the girl's glasses from her face, and she said, "Now, no one will see you." That created a ripple of laughter at the cabin, and everyone started talking with each other about something or other which bothers them that others don't want to see. See, everyone have some negatives or some concerns that others don't want to see. But that simple action of the granny enlightened me, opened my eyes. I was appalled at her action. That time I realized others looking at us, it doesn't bother us. When we notice that others looking at us, it bothers us. It is not others playing with us. It is our own mind plays the game with us. When we stop noticing, watching, if anyone looking at us, we will be free of our worries. Let's emancipate ourselves by throwing out the shackles that the mind is playing the game with us. Please do understand the keyhole to close, to filter others' opinion is not on the outside, but on the inside of us. Until and unless we change, we cannot stop others. So if you don't want others to see you, just remove your glasses. What about you, Toastmaster of the Day?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Uma. Okay, shall we go on to the next speak? It's quite a rousing speech. I wish I could remove my glasses, but then I have to read my script. Toastmaster Ruby is our second speaker for the day. She is currently pursuing a undergraduate program in India. And when asked about India, she says she is born in India and will serve to make the India for tomorrow. It's quite a big idea. Over to you, the evaluator for Toastmaster Ruby, to give the speech details.
Thank you, TMOD, Dr. Sandeep. My target speaker, Ruby, is pursuing her Level 1 Project 3, Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. Title is Sow, Wait and Reap. The purpose of this project is to practice using vocal variety and body language to enhance her speech. Over to you, TM Ruby.
Ma'am, have you given me screen share access? Can I start? The law of harvest is to reap what you sow. No, the law of harvest is to reap more than what you have sown. By James Allen. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and your guests. It was a fine evening on April 27, 2024. What day is it? It's none other than the Division Conference of Division B. It was a great event, and after learning many things and having a wonderful dinner, I was about to leave the campus. There came a voice shouting, "Hey you, return your ID card and go." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, here I have my ID card." When I was returning my ID card, I saw the division director by my side handling 2 samplings to his home, for his home. And he asked me, "Why are you not taking one to your home?" "No, sir." "Why don't you take a dry one?" I was like, "Okay, sir, let me take one sampling." My mind was be like, no matter what, you have seen a lot. What's a big deal in growing a plant? And I took it to my home, and the next day I started watering. I didn't have much excitement because I haven't grown any plant before, and this was the first one. I started watering it daily in the morning, but I couldn't see no improvement in it. Every day I used to water, but after a few days, I could see the leaves getting dried up because of the weather over here. Days passed. I could see almost many number of leaves have dried up in the plant, and I was really fed up. I didn't know why I should be fed up. I was not excited growing this plant. But then only I realized that thereby I had connection with the plant and myself. And I had an interest, I made an interest to grow the plant and to take care of it more. I started planting the water to the plant for 2 times a day, morning and evening. Then also I couldn't see any harvest. I kept watering it each and every day, 2 times. Now no harvest. Days passed. After 1 month, I could see one bud blooming up. And I was little much excited, but more sad. You all know why? Because every time there comes a bud, it gets dried up due to the weather over here. And at last, after 1.5 months, I could see that there were 12 flowers with 12 flowers and almost 10 to 12 buds over there. I had a tremendous joy looking at the plant. This plant have not only taught me to be consistent, but it has also taught me patience. And all that I could say is that whenever you sow something, remember that there is a harvest for what you have sown.
Thank you, Toastmaster
No,
Ruby.
I have not completed it. I'm sharing my screen over here.
Sorry.
I hope my screen is visible. So
Yeah.
all that I could see is the first picture, it was on June 1st, where there was only one flower. And the other 4 pictures in the below is the flower, it bloomed continuously from June 11th till June 16th. Every day I had blooming of buds and blooming of flowers over there. My dear fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, This plant has not only taught me to be consistent, but it also has taught me patience. And all that you sow, that is a harvest for it. There might be times in your life where you have sown many more than your companions, but you haven't reaped anything. There might be times when you have given up, like without seeing the harvest. But all that I could say is be consistent, have hope, have patience while during the progress, and know that, as I said it in the beginning, the law of harvest is to reap more than what you have sown. Hope you all can relate these three words: sow, wait, and reap. How about you, Toastmaster of the day?
Thank you, Toastmaster. Sorry for interrupting you. All right, over to speech number 3. Distinguished Toastmaster Durga will be giving her speech. She is an ardent poet, an enterprise architect at NatWest, a music lover, and a believer in hard work. And when she talked about India, she says it's a multi-ethnic pot, but of one national outlook. Nice words. Over to her speech evaluator for the speech details.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Dr. Sandeep. Today, my target speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Durga ma'am, is going to attempt her level 3 project 1, connect with storytelling in the persuasive influence pathways. The title of the speech is Rhythm of Life. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using a storytelling within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. I'm excited and I'm all ears to listen to distinguished Toastmaster Durga. Over to you, Toastmasters.
We are all living in the world of people who reacts for your response and expect a response for their reaction. But still we all can make a great story the moment our trembling heart rate returns to the normal rhythm. Good afternoon, my dear Toastmasters. One such great story happened in the life of the young Dale Carnegie, the author of best-selling books. One day, he was feeling very happy after he gave his live speech about Abraham Lincoln, the live radio. He almost forgot about it until few days later he got a letter. The moment he read the letter, he has become so furious and fuming. The letter was actually from a young lady who had written something which was really very rude. She wrote, "You have given the wrong dates about the incidents of Abraham Lincoln's life. You haven't done your research work properly. You should be apologizing." And it went on and on. With full of anger, he rushed towards his study table, pulled out a pen and paper and started writing a reply. The letter was equally full of hatred in the same tone, the same anger. By then he finished writing the letter. He just looked around for the office boy who had left for the day already and he couldn't post the letter. He just left it on his study table and went to bed. And that day he slept peacefully because he had spewed the venom which was inside him onto that letter. The next day morning, before putting the letter inside the envelope, he just had a look at it once. He felt that the letter is much harsher than what he intended it to be. He also realized that actually that lady was right. I have given the wrong dates. This lady doesn't deserve this much anger. He also thought, if one night can make this much difference, let me wait and see. He continued this experiment for the next 6 full days. And finally, on the 7th day morning, he just posted this letter because he had nothing more to say. What he actually wrote in the letter was, I'm really apologizing for giving the wrong information, and also I am very sorry for not doing the research work properly. The magic happened. The letter started flowing up and down. 6 months later, the lady came to the town and met him. And you know what? The happy ending of this story? The letter started with a hatred, has ended as a love letter. My dear Toastmasters, what would have happened if the first letter had been posted? How many of you faced similar situations in your life? Just resonate. Last Sunday, there were heated arguments going at my home. I was sitting peacefully and watching TV. My daughter Dasu rushed towards me, snatched the TV remote from me and asked, Mom, how do you always stay calm and collected during these adversaries? I just claimed the TV remote gently from her and responded compassionately, Dasu, like this TV remote, always I carry an imaginary remote with me. I use 2 buttons. Number 1, an imaginary ignore button. With this ignore button, I ignore the style of the people who try to give me the message. Often it happens that the style of the people puts it into judgmental action. The biases, past experience come to the fore. We stop listening and start reacting. The number 2, I use the pause button. Whenever the aggravation happens, I really pause and think, is it really going to be matter in a month down the line or in a year down the line? If the answer is no, just ignore. Because the troubles or the anger are like babies. They grow larger by nursing. In our life, the things that hurt us, it may construct you or even destruct you if you fail to respond patiently. Just to give my daughter the strong message as a moral of the story, I just compared our rhythm of life with the sweetness of the flute. First of all, the flute is sweet because it sings only when it is fully blown. On contrast, people always open their mouth and talk even when it is not needed. Secondly, the sweetness and melody of the flute goes through the flute because it's empty and free of knots. Sometimes we people are noisy because we are full of knots, having our biases, past experiences inside us. Just throw off the shackles and just be like a flute, be an empty person, empty mind. Then the understanding something is beyond the words. Ladies and gentlemen, learn the art of responding rather than reacting. You will witness the melody lingers in your soul, resonating with the right rhythm. What's your reaction, Toastmaster of the day? Over to you.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster. Okay. Moving on to the next section, which is our tables topic session. A few moments to ponder. Share my screen again. Okay. I hope everyone can listen to this audio clip.
The ambition of the greatest man of our generation has been to wipe every tear from every eye. That may be beyond us, but so long as there are tears and suffering, so long our work will not be over. And so we have to labor and to work and work hard to give reality to our dreams. Those dreams are for India, but they are also for the world.
Okay. Any guesses on who delivered that speech and what speech it was?
I'm going to make a guess. This is the twist of destiny
Yes,
by
please.
Jawaharlal Nehru.
Yeah, fantastic. So most people don't listen to the second half of the speech. Most people talk about the politics of the speech when India received her freedom, the turn of midnight, and she awakens to a new destiny. And these are absolutely lovely words from the ambition of every Indian should be to wipe every tear from every eye. And as long as there are tears, okay, our work will not be over. So we needed something to galvanize us as a community. We all talk about this hodgepodge, melting pot, diversity, okay, and this symbol of our unity is to be recognized as a common flag where we can live or to die for. And that was Mahatma Gandhi's words. So can you all recognize these flags? Are these all Indian flags? Show me hands. Are they all national flags? Okay, possibly. Okay, because I couldn't have drawn them any other way. But to tell you this first flag, okay, you can see there are lotuses. There's a moon in one corner, the Surya in one corner, and someone can read the words written there. It was Vande Mataram. Yeah. So this was one of our first flags. It was called the Calcutta flag, and the next flag came to be known as the Berlin Committee flag. Okay, this was the first flag that was unfurled on a foreign soil. So this is the first flag. Okay, and as you can see, the saffron, which has been introduced along with 8 lotuses from the head up, and then you can see the yellow with the Surya and this thing with the green light. Okay, so then Bala Gangadhar Tilak sounded the Home Rule movement. So this is known as the Home Rule flag. Okay, and similar to the Australian flag, okay, they wanted self-dominion. Okay, so you can see the star sign, which is a southern cross for the Australian flag. You had the Sampachitra for the Indian flag, which was our star sign, along with the Surya and the moon. Okay, so these were all very religious-oriented flags. Okay, and Gandhiji was the first one to introduce this flag. This is Gandhiji's own flag. Saffron stands for bloodshed, courage. Green stands for hope, and white stands for purity. And he was the first one to introduce this chakra. Okay, as a sign of the Satyagraha movement. And this went on till the very end, where you can see the Satyagraha movement mentioned very clearly on the flag. And who designed our flag? Any guesses? The final version of our flag.
From Karnataka.
Okay.
Srinivasalu.
No, it is Pingali Venkaya designed the flag up to the last one. Okay. But the final version of the flag was by a lady. Okay, a Muslim lady. Okay, a Hyderabadi woman by name Suraya Dayabji. Okay. So she is the one who designed the final version of the flag, who changed the colors, who changed the colors and introduced the Ashoka Chakra as a symbol of Dharna in the center of her flag. Okay, so she was adept at painting, at sewing, riding, swimming, and she was called by many not a suitable daughter-in-law. Okay, and she finally married a husband he called her a path breaker, obviously. And this is with the father, and they were one of the founders of the Aligarh Muslim University. Okay, so this tri-color flag is also known in Hindi as Triranga. Okay, and is it the correct way to say it? How many colors are there on this flag? The saffron stands for? Yeah, there are actually 4 colors.
Yeah.
Okay, so the saffron stands for?
Courage.
Oh, courage.
Yes, courage. Okay, and
Peace.
sacrifice.
White for peace.
And green is
Yeah, the
Green
white
for
for the peace and the green for
prosperity.
Prosperity.
Yeah,
And Ashoka Chakra in the center.
yes, and that is the blue color as well. So if they ask you how many colors are there on it is not a tricolor anymore. Okay, so let's move on to the next session, which is the table topic session. And I like to call upon our table topic master for the day, our presiding officer herself, Toastmaster Savita.
Hello. Can I start? Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, right. Great. It was a roller coaster day for me. Unfortunately, there was no power, laptop shut down, so I have to log in from my sister's mobile. So there's a roller coaster ride. So, Independence Day. Independence means taking responsibility of your life and the choices you make. Do you all agree on the personal perspective? But when it comes to government, it's all about exercise self-government and usually sovereignty over its territory. So they have to govern their territory. So today, as part of Independence Day, I would like to talk about the independence of self with few topics. So who would like to go first? Anyone? Guess Ranga, would you like to go first? Okay. So how does technology impact the independence of today's youth? Let me repeat. How does technology impact the independence of today's youth?
Thank you for this question. See, I was a teenager when television came to India first. That was the year 1960. We did not own television till 1984. So I spent most of my childhood and young adulthood not having a television, going to a friend's place and watching television, which was usually frowned upon by my parents. If we don't have it, we don't have to go and see. So that was the technology at that time. Now we fast forward 50 years. We now live in a world where technology is ubiquitous. It is everywhere. And it is in the form of cell and the cell phone. You pack it. Most of the stuff which I feel as an elder citizen now, it's not required. I don't have to be constantly wired on something. But youngsters, I can take the case of my niece. She's constantly on Instagram. She always looks at what is happening. What is an update on Insta? She's not much of a Twitter person, but Insta, she's right there and spreading information or watching something. And that is the way. And then I realized for her, the last 7 or 8 years have been the most important. And that is a way for her to connect, especially after the pandemic. So maybe they have a way or they have a reason as to why they are technologically wired. And they also always constantly got to be engaged. We have to understand why they need it. I can't tell her from my point of view that why do you have to constantly feel the phone? I need to understand and lead a person tell them that take some time. But youngsters, they need to have their own space, just as I had mine 50 years ago. Thank you. Back to you.
Sorry. Thank you so much for your perspective on that topic, Toastmaster Ranga. That's a very valid one. And I completely agree with you with whatever you said. Thank you so much for your perspective. So let's move on. Who would like to take up the next topic? Okay, Toastmaster Felix. Okay. So, how does the societal pressure impact the independence of young people? Let me repeat. How does the societal pressure impact the independence of young people?
Thank you, Table Topic Master. It's really the societal pressure always play a very vital role in our progress and growth. As it was highlighted in one of the speeches also today, what we heard, generally it's our mindset and our mind's propensity is always think about what people really feel about us. So over the period of time, after moving so much into our societal life, both in the profession and in the personal life, then we will get some maturity. After facing so much of hardships in our life, we tend to realize them. We should not consider about the society because it's our own life. We have to. It's a simple life. It's a God-given life. We have to live. We should not consider others because others judge by our outer thing. It's a famous say, right? Don't judge a book by its cover. So whenever the people they don't know what's really going in within us, so they simply say we should not consider those things. The so many things the society will keep on giving us. Only the few people will appreciate, like the Toastmasters people. So others always tend to criticize you only. So never consider about any societal pressure. Keep your internal pressure only to build you and get progress in you. Thank you, Table Topic Master.
I always forget to unmute. Sorry about that. There is a lot of background noise over here. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Felix, for that wonderful perspective. And you are the one person who always helps us to crack some jokes in whatever you do and help us to release that social pressure is what I believe. Thank you so much for your perspective. Let's move on. So who will be the next? Who will go next? Sai Kumar, would you like to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What does emotional independence mean to you and how do you maintain it? Let me repeat. What does emotional independence mean to you and how do you maintain it?
So what is emotional independence, if I'm not wrong?
Okay, so basically emotional independence is like how emotionally, so if you get any situation where you get disturbed emotionally, right? So where you can't work and how do you cope up from that situation where you have social pressure, you have personal pressure, work pressure, social pressure. So how do you cope it from that? What are the things you do in order to make yourself see the present situation?
Sorry, I can't. Emotional independence. Yeah. I think we should, for emotional independence, we should read some books so that we can get distracted from these social pressures. We can read some books so that we can't fall in the trap of societal pressures. I couldn't think more than that. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, Toastmaster Savita, I think you're in mute.
Unfortunately, due to time constraint, we have to move on to the next topic. Sorry about that. So over to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sandeep.
All right. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Savita. Timer, can you announce the timings for the table topics as well as the prepared speech section, so the eligibility to vote will be then considered.
Sure. Good afternoon. Prepared speech section. Speaker 1, Toastmaster Uma, has taken 6 minutes, 27 seconds. Speaker 2, Toastmaster Ruby, has taken 5 minutes, 22 seconds. Speaker 3, Distinguished Toastmaster Dugga, has taken 6 minutes, 24 seconds. In TT section, Toastmaster Renga has taken 2 minutes, 23 seconds. Toastmaster Felix has taken 1 minute, 39 seconds. Toastmaster Sai has taken 56 seconds together, Sai and Savita. Thank you.
Before we move on to the next session, so when you think about India, most of us think about shanty towns, dirty places, filthy cows. Okay, but okay, let me see how many of you all see what is India's contribution to the world. It is buttons or collars? This or that?
Buttons?
Buttons.
Buttons, that's right. Rulers or erasers?
Rulers?
Okay. Well done. Toothbrush or shampoo?
Toothbrush.
No, shampoo. Shampoo actually comes from the Sanskrit word champu, which is a nutrient for the hair. Hockey or chess?
Chess.
Chess.
Chaturanga. Yeah, chaturanga. Zero or the integers?
Zero.
Zero.
Okay. Euler or pi?
Pi.
Pi.
Euler was Greek. I think that was a lame question. Okay.
Euler is
So,
the name of
in
the
terms of, yes, in terms of scientific achievement, nothing can come close to rocket science. Okay, so here we have a bit of history of space development, and India is proud to be one of the 6 nations, okay, which can proudly say they can launch their own vehicles. They can launch an unmanned vehicle, and they're the first ones, as you know, all know, Chandrayaan reached the south pole of the moon with a soft landing. Okay, so here was Vikram Sarabhai. Okay, so he was looking for a place, okay, where you can see, which is close to the equator, okay, where there is a where the sun's rays directly heat the atmosphere, and that causes a current. This is called the equatorial current. Okay, so he was looking for a small place in the southernmost tip, okay, and he found a small village, okay, in the fishing town of Thana. All right, and a location which he thought was probably ideal to launch the first rocket. And there he looked for. There was a small church in that village. Okay, and he thought, okay, maybe this I can approach this pastor, and maybe he can give me a bit of his land for setting up the launch program. So this St. Mary's Magdalene Church, he approached the pastor, and the pastor had to take the consent of his congregation because they have to give up the land. Okay, and so he, instead of telling him yes or no, he gave him an equivocal answer. Come to the Sunday morning worship service like today. Okay, and there he on the podium, he is talking to his children. My children, I have a famous scientist, Vikram, who wants our church and the place I work for space science and research. Science seeks truth that enriches human life, and the higher level of religion is spirituality. And the spiritual preachers seek the help of the Almighty to bring peace to the human minds. Okay, so it's a big cycle. All right. In short, what Vikram and I am trying to do are the same thing. Both science and spirituality seek the Almighty's blessings for prosperity in mind and body. And children, can we give them God's abode for a scientific mission? And Kalam writes in his book, From Bicycle to Billions, there was a silence in the whole congregation, and then there was a hearty Amen, okay, which actually means so be it from the congregation. And that's where the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center came to be. Okay, and can you recognize Abdul Kalam in this picture?
Yep.
So can you give me some cues?
Not left, sitting on the right side.
Right, fantastic. Okay, without the long hair, now the glasses. Okay, so this was the initial phase of the space program where they had to literally cart the satellites, the rockets on bicycles and bullock carts. Okay, and can you recognize this satellite?
Aryabhatta.
This was a fantastic. This was a very first satellite. Unfortunately, it failed operation in a year after it was launched, but it showed that India had the capability to launch a satellite into space. And it came down and splashed and burnt up in the atmosphere in 1992. Okay, and since then we have grown leaps and bounds. Okay, so this is as you can see, the name here says is the PSLV rocket, it's a Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Then you have the geostationary launch vehicles, the GSLV rockets. And then you have the latest version of the GSLV, which is the GSLV-M Mark III launch vehicles. Okay, so, and for those who are interested in going to watch a launch, we have one happening right on August 15th, 2024, 9:15 a.m., right next door in the Shikhar Dhawan Space Center. Okay, so if you want to reserve, the registrations are still open. Okay. Right. So moving on to the evaluation section. Okay, can I call on our general evaluator to direct us, please?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. So we are coming to the most important session. As we go through the evaluations, remember that feedback is meant to help us get there, just like how our country has improved through hard work and unity. So we have a panel of experienced evaluators who will evaluate the speakers and provide feedback that is constructive and nurturing. Their insights will guide us in refining our skills, much like how our nation has grown and strengthened over time. The first evaluator of this meeting is Toastmaster Felix, who is a fun-loving person and who loves traveling. To evaluate speaker Uma Mageshwari, I welcome Toastmaster Felix.
Thank you, General Evaluator. If I start with the duration of the speech was crafted well within a time of 5 to 7 minutes. The speech grabbed the attention of audience by asking questions like raise your hands. And the examples you gave, what others think when you showcase your talents, and the modulation you gave. It was awesome. And it was more relatable and got more connection. Then you entered into the story segment, the purpose of your elective. And thanks Toastmaster Uma, you revealed the Chidambaram secrets, Chidambara Ragasyam to us today. If you don't want others see you, remove their glasses. No, remove your own glasses. It's not about others. It's about your own mindset. That's very well said. Your rate of speech was so good. So much clarity and pronunciation was superb. There was a clever pauses in between. He included so many characters in between. and the traveling in the bus, there was a clever pauses and the content we easily understood. Then your pitch and modulation was so appropriate. One area of improvement I just want to suggest here, there is a slight variation in your the standing position. Like when we were discussing about the conversation of a granny and that girl, and that you were that mental nodding, right? So that time, if you have some slight variations, that flow of conversations between the persons would have added much more visualization to us. Overall, your speech content was good, delivery was awesome, and it really helped us in emancipate the faux pas, fear of people's opinion, and you have thrown out all the shackles out of our mindset. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Sorry, I was mesmerized. I was just listening to his speech. Yeah. So next evaluator is Toastmaster Lata. To evaluate speaker Toastmaster Ruby. I welcome Toastmaster Lata.
Yeah, thank you, General Evaluator Naga. My target speaker, Ruby. Her title, So Wait, Read. The introduction to the topic was smooth. I love the way you brought in a story of receiving a gift of a plant and your enthusiasm of excitement when you received it. The language that you used, the language flow was smooth, and your voice modulation was good. You brought in the story of, because you couldn't take the responsibility of taking care, you saw the withering leaf and the shrinking growth. And then you realized and you changed. And in the process, you said you learned patience and consistency. I love your body language was, and the space that you used, the virtual space was good. You were moving and your voice was clear and you were bringing in the storyline very well. I would like to give a few suggestions here that I could see that in between for a very short while, your voice was too fast and it was not very clear. And then probably you froze for a minute. There was some little stumbling that I observed. But that's okay. Then if you take care of these small things, I think you would be great. And I love the way that you gave the message that about your excitement and the way that you, after you learned the patience and consistency and you took care of the plant and you used the prop and PPT of showing the flowers and you harvested 14 flowers. And I love the way you concluded the speech by asking the question to TM. All the very best, TM Ruby. Thank you. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lata. So the next evaluator of this session is Toastmaster Sridevi. She is currently the area director of H3, and she is a Toastmaster since 2019 and have been vice president and BPPR. And she has contested several times and reached up to division stage. She is a storyteller, educator, trainer, and founder of Little Laudable Learner. I welcome her to evaluate speaker and Toastmaster Durga.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Naga, for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, Toastmasters, and my dear target speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Durga. I should definitely say that your speech is still lingering in my ears, not just in my ears, in my soul, with the melody of the rhythm. So these are the words that you closed your speech with. Your speech was absolutely profound, insightful, and impactful. The beginning, the first sentence was intriguing, and you got all our attention at the right first sentence itself. As soon as you started telling an anecdote from the life of Winston Churchill, we were able to look out for what you're trying to say from his story. So it gave a lot of credibility. We were able to listen to it and want to understand what you're trying to say. And from that story, you try to move to your personal story. That again brought in a lot of emotions. As soon as you say the house was completely fighting, there was a large noise going on. We could, as such, see that. We could relate to that, as it happens all the time in each and every household. And we always had that remote button, but we never thought of a remote button in this angle. After listening to your speech, whenever we get a fight or something, we can remember the remote. It's like a metaphor to say, ask us to pause and then reflect and then move on. So that's an interesting analogy that you used, the usage of the remote button. Your body language, the pauses, the script as such was well written. I'm sure you are such a rock star poet. There is no word to say about anything about that. The furious and fuming, that's the only area of improvement I could say. The furious and fuming, when you say that word, that furious and fuming is not coming out from your face, because I know it is, that is how you are made. But however, you could have acted it out a little bit more, and the words, the intonation of the words could have been more. When you spoke about Winston Churchill, you could have changed your accent and then tried to present it that way. That's the only suggestion I have. The highlighting words that I use, like spewed the venom, the magic happened. There were a lot of good usages. I couldn't note down all of them. And one more highlight was the Buddha statue behind your background. That's purposefully done, I guess, to match with the speech. It was a brilliant move for you to go with that background. It was absolutely matching to the theme of your speech. Overall, your speech was excellent. Just that we need a little bit more action through your voice in the intonation and the accent. It will be a great speech. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Sridevi. Now the time has come to gather reports from the casual team. I'd like to call upon Toastmaster Padmavati for the timing report.
Time taken by the evaluators. Evaluator 1, Toastmaster Felix, has taken 2 minutes, 28 seconds. Evaluator 2, Toastmaster Lada, has taken 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Evaluator 3, Toastmaster Sridevi, has taken 3 minutes, 26 seconds. Thank you. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Padmavati. Next, we have our raw counter, Toastmaster Lata, for the report.
Yeah. Thank you, General Evaluator. Here is my R counter report. First speaker, Uma Maheshwari, did not use any filler words at all. My heartiest appreciations to her. TM Ruby, 2 places are and Padma guest Padma Vijayan, 3 places are. TM Felix used 1 R and Sai Kumar used 2 Rs. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lata. Next, we have the reports for the grammar and idiom usages from Toastmaster Matthews.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So, both the word of the day and the idiom was used a couple of times. I'd like to thank all of the you speakers who used the words. So the word was used by Postmaster Sridevi, Postmaster Umar, Postmaster Felix, and the idioms was again used by Postmaster Sridevi, Postmaster Umar, Postmaster Durga, and Postmaster Felix, and also there were so many good usages of the language as well. So I'll just post in the chat box because our time is coming down. Thank you. Back to you, and evaluate.
Thank you, Toastmaster Matthews. Next, we have come to the most interesting part, the listening session. Like, I welcome Toastmaster Sai Kumar.
Hi everyone. So my first question will be, how many provinces did Patel united into India? As per
565.
PM.
565.
565.
Super, ma'am. Correct. It's correct. And then what is a newspaper started by Netaji?
Swaraj.
Okay, super, sir. And who used the word art of responding then reacting? One of the speaker has used the word. Correct, ma'am. Correct. So what is FOPO?
Fear of people.
Fear of
Fear
public
of
opinion.
Okay,
People's
super,
opinion.
super, sir, super. So what is law of harvest as per Ruby, Toastmaster Ruby?
You harvest more than you reap. So you reap more than you harvest.
You reap more. Thank you, thank you. That's all from my end. Thank you. Over to you, G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai Kumar. So, fellow Toastmasters and guests, now it's time to evaluate the meeting, overall meeting. For me, the meeting started on time, and everybody has done their role in a proper way. The presiding officer, while starting the meeting, may make us all to salute, which make us to feel more patriotic. I feel the Independence Day, like we are already celebrating the Independence Day today. And the speech from Toastmaster of the day, the facts, the insights he shared about the independence and various aspects about it in the presentations and the pictures, which gave us lot of information, which we don't normally think in that aspect. So for me, freedom means like how we got freedom, and after freedom, how the political party is formed. But taking from flags to various leaders' speeches and putting their quotes, it makes us really interesting. So all information at one place, I would say. And for the prepared speeches, it's really the way our speakers tell the story is more better than watching a movie, I would say. The level of detailing they gives to tell a story is more engaging and more interesting, and it is even better than reading a book or watching a movie. So it was very good today for those speaking sessions. And table topic, of course, we do not have enough time. Like already we have spent a lot of time for the prepared speeches and other stuffs. And also here and there, I would find some jokes. For example, I think Felix has pointed out when the Toastmaster say Jai Hind, he told Arjun. So that was a good one. So yes. So other than this, the following things I think that still needs we need attention is especially the network coverage. Suppose people, if you are connecting, please try to connect where you have good network coverage, or check your battery or laptop it is charged before the meeting. And for the prepared speeches, I would advise that when you are standing and speaking in front of the laptop or phone, check your mic and the echo systems before participating, because you are putting a lot of efforts. But at the moment when you deliver it, it has to be, if it is properly aligned, then it will reach the audience whatever that you are expecting. So overall, the meeting went very well. So just as our nation's freedom was won through unity and resolve, our growth as communicators relies on our support and encouragement for one another. It was a great honor for me to be the general evaluator. It is now time to invite Toastmaster of the day to take back the control. Over to you, Timothy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nagamanakam. Kind words as well. So moving on to the next session, just to conclude, I'm just going to take 5 minutes of the time. Out of respect for the country, I just want you to spend that few minutes with me. So India has been the largest contributor of troops to the United Nations, right? And after that only comes the US and the China. So, and in terms of army strength, we have one of the, our army strength is first, second, or third. Anybody? In terms of numbers, 1, 2, or 3?
Second.
Well done. Okay. We are the second largest standing army. Okay. But India has seen a share of conflicts. It has never invaded another country, okay, in its 3,000-year history, okay, but it's been invaded many times in the past. And can you all describe this conflict?
Kargil War.
Okay. So that was the last Indo-Pakistan War of 1999, although Pakistan vehemently denies its involvement. Okay. So somewhere in June, somewhere the jihadis, the Pakistani troops dressed up as jihadis, okay, infiltrated these borders, which are heavily snowed down. We're talking about sub 30 degrees at 9,000 feet of height. Okay, and then they launched an armed conflict at the. So they had taken up the heights and they had a firing advantage. Okay, and then it took India a while to respond because they had no clue. They thought it was jihadis, it was a small manpower. But when they realized it was Pakistan's involvement, they had mobilized troops. And within 2 months, okay, they had vanquished the foe. Okay, they had pushed them back to the line of control. Okay, there was US involvement as well to ask Nawab Sharif, okay, who the world knew by then that was Pakistan all along. Okay, the sad fact of the matter was nearly 4,000 Pakistanis lost their lives. Okay, and many of the bodies were not claimed by the Pakistani army. Okay, and that's the and this created a lot of conflict in Pakistan, but it shows the respect they have for people who sacrifice their lives. Okay, and on our side, we lost at least 500 men, and 500 soldiers, okay, made the ultimate sacrifice. Okay, and this was one person's last letter. I would like to read it. This is Captain Vijayant. Okay, dear Papa, Mama, Birdie, Granny, by the time you get this letter, I'll be observing you from the sky, enjoying the hospitality of us Apsaras. I have no regrets. In fact, if I'm reborn as a human, I will join the army again and fight for my nation. If you can, please come and see where the Indian army fought for your tomorrow. He adds, whatever organ can should be taken. He asked his parents to donate money to an orphanage and asked him to give rupees 50 every month to Rukshana, a 3-year-old Kashmiri girl he had befriended during his short stint there. He hopes that the sacrifices made by him and his men will not be forgotten by his battalion and his country. He signs off with a brave, okay. It's smart for me to join my clan of the Dirty Dozen. Okay. And he says, live life king size. Okay, so 500 men died for us on that border. Okay, and we still remember them today. It was Kargil Day was when? Can I ask?
July 26th.
Fantastic. Okay, and I like you to honor these victims. Every time you know that you're at the moment there are 110 active conflicts in the world. Okay, and we are sitting here having a Toastmasters meeting. Many of them don't have that privilege. I just like to end. I like you all to stand for our national anthem as a sign of respect. Please. There is one mistake in this anthem, and let me see whether one of you can point it out.
भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नाम जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल नायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Okay. Just before we conclude, can you spot the mistake?
Tiranga?
The speed of the song.
Oh, well done. Okay, what should the actual speed of the song be?
It should be
52 seconds.
51 or
52 seconds.
Ah.
52
Yeah,
seconds.
52 seconds. Well done. Well done. Thank you. Over to you, presiding officer.
Wow, what a session it was. So we went back to the independence and came back now till Kargil War, and we ended with Vande Mataram. We ended with the amazing song. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, for taking us all through these questions and also enlightening us how fortunate we are to get independence. After 78 years of independence, we have exceeded par than any other countries in this world. Thank you so much. And more importantly, thank you each one of you for being in this session till the end. That is really amazes me to see that everyone are there here being a dedicated Toastmasters. And more importantly, thank you, Toastmaster Sridevi, for pitching in because I had a very terrible network issue because there is no power from morning. I couldn't charge my phone and neither my laptop. I had a very difficult time. Thank you so much. And amazing speeches. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear one or two. I'll definitely catch up those speeches. And General Evaluator and Tiger team, hats off. Thank you so much for such a wonderful evaluation. And more importantly, thanks for being there and wishing you a very happy Independence Day in advance. See you next week. And especially guest Ranga, please do share your feedback and do join us every week. It's delighted to see you every week. Can you please share your feedback?
I'm part of Medley Toastmasters. So Medley and Dynamic Forum, we had a joint meeting. Think about 3 years. Yes. And then I'm glad the way Dynamic Forum has grown. So in I have the highest regard. So, again, best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ranga. I'm happy to know you are part of Medley Group, and we are very delighted to have you week on week. Thank you so much. And today, the best speaker goes to Toastmaster Uma Maheshwari. Give a big round of applause to her. And the best evaluator is Toastmaster Felix. And the best table topic goes to guests. Anyone? Anyone? Toastmaster Felix again, congratulations. And the best auxiliary role player, anyone? Guess? It's for grammarian Toastmaster Matthews Reggie. Congratulations, Matthew. And the best role player, anyone? Toastmasters. Congratulations. Congratulations to each and every winners. You will get certificate after this session shortly. So once again, a very happy Independence Day. I'll officially close this meeting for today. Thank you so much. It's open for socializing in case if you want to talk about.